which gets interesting though, Lacey, because Tom Cruise is 62 this year, and I know he's Tom Cruise and does things that normal men do not do. But are we potentially looking at a 70-year-old Maverick? And what does
I don't
that
know,
look
but you bringing this up, he's currently running to your house full sprint to punch you in the face. Talking about his age.
So, Lacey, we got a Top Gun 3 update.
Mm.
We are going to talk about that in What's Happening because you and I loved Top Gun Maverick. We are
Danger Zone.
I think you're more nervous than I am about a third one, but we'll get to that. More importantly, how you doing? How's it going, Lacey?
I'm good. Coming off another week of Acolyte stuff for Star Wars, TRB.
Yep.
But I had a very productive week on watching things. I was able to watch several different things, a TV series as well as a movie. I know that's surprising.
Hitman later, right?
We are. I didn't want to spoil it, but spoiler alert, we're reviewing Hitman.
Well, it's in the title.
That is true. That is true. So we're going to talk about Glenn Powell. People.
We're gonna talk, Glenn Powell's back in the discussion here, but welcome everybody to Nerdy and Nice, 7th episode of the show. So we hope you are enjoying the very tail end of your spring, as I believe summer kicks off this week officially. So enjoy those long days and hopefully enjoy all the nerdiness going on out there because we're here to talk about it because Mondays are for the nerds, as I like to say. So welcome to the show. And if you know people who love the comic book movies and any of the action movies, all the stuff we talk about here that's aside from Star Wars, which we do on the Resistance broadcast, tell them, spread the word, tell your friends to listen to the show. It's free. It's on your favorite podcast app. You just have to look up Nerdy and Nice, and there we are. And we have exclusive bonus content on the TRB podcasts Patreon. So go to patreon.com/TRB podcasts. Tiers start at $5, and you can contribute to our shows, and you can also take in exclusive mini episodes that we do for that page. So sign up and support. We thank you. And for our existing patrons, Lacey, we have to say it, like, this podcast probably wouldn't have been made if it wasn't for the support we get, because we put a lot of time in and we have day jobs and families and stuff. So we can't thank 100%. Everybody enough for your support.
Yeah, we spent hours between, recording. Spoiler alert, this is, into the wee hours of the night.
It is.
Recording this episode. So buckle up. This is probably going to be a weird episode.
It's going to be a weird episode. And speaking of weird, the Knives Out stuff is happening. They just started rolling on that. What'd you think of James Bond's long hair, Lacey? I got to ask you.
Daniel Craig, I don't really like it because his character is supposed to be so well put together and kind of perfectly combed hair, nice style, ascot type.
Yeah,
that's what I want out of my character, my Benoit Blanc. Why do we both say that with a really weird face? We're both like Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc.
I am disappointed that Lindsay Lohan and Tom Hardy are not cast, specifically Lindsay Lohan. I was really rooting for her. This could have been her big kind of comeback move into bigger movies. Yeah.
Maybe this rumor will start a snowball that will lead to her casting in Knives Out 4.
Maybe. She's already logged on, or I guess signed on, not really logged on, signed on for a Freaky Friday 2 with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Saw that. Is Jamie Lee Curtis coming back in that one?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, there you go.
My assumption is it's going to be Lindsay Lohan and her daughter switch places or something, and Jamie Lee Curtis is there.
Yeah, to tie it all together or whatever.
Yeah.
So we got Knives Out filming. Pixar back in a big way. We'll get to more stories on Pixar later, but Inside Out 2 is targeting $85 million at the box office, which would make it the highest opening weekend of 2024, beating out Dune. So I know Pixar has stumbled a bit over the last few years with some personnel change.
Didn't Bad Boy do really well? Didn't Bad Boys 3 do really well?
Bad Boys did $54 million.
Ah, but
Yeah,
that's
which
good for it.
which is
What it
very good.
was.
Very
Yes.
good.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah. Especially, I think there was trepidation with, how are people gonna receive Will Smith and
They
stuff,
don't
and
care. People don't
no,
care.
I don't think they care.
There was a
Um,
video of him coming out of a theater. Everybody was excited
I
to see
saw
him,
that.
high-fiving
Yeah.
him, doing stuff like that.
Yep.
Nobody cares. Nobody
Yep.
cares.
I saw that, but, there are other things happening, Lacey, so why don't we get into it right now?
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Enough! I get the point.
All right, guys, there was a lot happening this week, surprisingly. It never stops occurring, everything in pop culture. So first up, speaking of action movies, we have action producer Jerry Bruckheimer, who most consider a GOAT, an action producer, gives a realistic update on Top Gun 3 off the heels of another successful hit of his, last week's #1 movie, Bad Boys Ride or Die. This guy cannot miss. I rarely see him missing. Jerry Bruckheimer, he's got the tree logo with the lightning,
Yep.
killing it. So, John, what is the update?
The update is, well, most importantly than not, it's Jerry Bruckheimer talking about it actively now,
Mhm.
which is always a good thing. We talk about that with Star Wars projects because they sometimes get canceled or whatever.
But didn't Tom Cruise and Glenn Powell already talk about there was a script or was an idea?
Oh, yeah, so they are it's not a rumor, like, they are developing it, it's just a matter of when. So his update
Mhm.
isn't a huge update, but he did say, "We've got some interesting ideas, we've talked to Tom Cruise about it, we don't have a script yet, it will be a while." So, the
Mhm.
update is, it's likely happening, it's probably definitely happening, but don't hold your breath, which gets interesting though, Lacey, because Tom Cruise is 62 this year, and I know he's Tom Cruise and does things that normal men do not do. But are we potentially looking at a 70-year-old Maverick? And what
I
does
don't
that
know,
look
but you bringing this up, he's currently running to your house full sprint to punch you in the face. Talking about his age.
I mean,
I
if you wanted to bring me a pizza, that'd be nice, and someone else didn't.
I
But,
will bring you the okay, I'm not backing out. I just haven't had the chance yet. I will bring you your pizza. You're going away this weekend, maybe next weekend. Um,
I went away last weekend. What are you talking about?
Last weekend I was still remodeling my house, so I'm not really leaving my house right now.
But for the
Um,
suspension of disbelief, I
what?
just went away this past weekend.
Yeah, I said this coming weekend, next weekend. Come on, it's not a big deal. Whatever. John's busy this weekend.
She
So
broke the
weird.
fourth wall. No. Go ahead.
Oh my god, so weird. Um, I what were we even talking about? Now I forgot what we were talking about.
That
Tom
Tom Cruise is
Cruise
gonna punch me in the face.
punch you in the face for talking about his age. I think we could see Tom Cruise coming back again. He's already talked about how he wants to come back again. I don't think you can have Top Gun without Tom Cruise. It's
Agreed.
kinda like
Yeah, of
making an
course.
Iron Man movie without Tony Stark, which we talked without, oh my god, I called him Tony Stark, without Robert Downey Jr., which we talked about last week. Like,
Yeah,
he is Tony Stark. You can't
yeah,
make Top Gun without Tom Cruise.
yeah. I agree. I think yeah, there was no doubt in my mind that he was coming back. For me, it's just like, time and like how old is he gonna be trying to get back in the plane and
I
we've
mean,
seen
they did it
older
with Indiana
actors.
Jones.
Yeah, exactly. And that came back to mixed results as
Mm,
well.
mhm, mhm.
So, but you can't really doubt Tom Cruise ever. So I just like the fact that Bruckheimer is chiming in now and talking about it because I don't remember hearing him talk about it. I think it was always um who was the first person to talk about it. He was well, it wasn't Tom Cruise, of course,
Wasn't it
but
Glenn Powell?
no, it wasn't Glenn Powell.
Was it the director?
No,
Joseph whatever his name is?
no, Kaczynski? No, it
Yeah.
wasn't. It
No,
was
'cause he's
no,
doing Tron, right?
no, it was Miles Teller.
Oh, Miles
Miles
Teller,
Teller was, like, trying to
yes.
pitch it to Tom Cruise, and that's, that's how it got going, but I think just with how much money it made alone, uh, they'll come back for a third. Now, I hope they also bring back Penny Benjamin, though. I don't want it to be one of those things where, like, "And now Maverick has another love interest that he picked up at the senior center, calling bingo." It's like, "No, you gotta
He's
stick
not
with."
that old, stop. Oh my
He's
god.
sick well, he's
He looks
62.
amazing.
I
Frizzy.
understand that. Scientology has a great skincare program, but he's 62 years old. By the time they make it, I'm saying he might almost be like 70. It took them 34 years to make a sequel. What's they gonna do? But yeah, I'm still excited about it. Anytime we get an update, I think that's good stuff. So Bruckheimer's talking about it. I think we're still in solid shape.
Nice. What's also turning out to be in solid shape is Toy Story 5,
Yes.
which has found its director. Finding Nemo and Wall-E director Andrew Stanton has been chosen to direct Toy Story 5, um, which is interesting. So this came back from the DizInsider.com. We were talking about this story. They said that the plot thickens, as in it's been kept under wraps of what's happening with Buzz and Woody. They are getting the original actors to come back, which is great. That's the big question, right? Are they going to have everybody come back? They are,
Mhm.
but we don't know what's going to happen so far. I also found it interesting that they talked about how this whole movie has been produced on a $720 million budget and it's made $3.3 billion worldwide. So no pressure, Andrew Stanton, but you're kind of taking up a very large mantle with Toy Story 5 off kind of the recent conversations in the past year, but even more recent than that, like a couple weeks ago from Bob Iger saying how they are very much pressuring and putting importance on these IPs that people love, that people go to the theaters to see, to do these sequels. That's why we're getting Toy Story 5. I believe we're getting 5 Frozens. They're doing 3, 4, and 5 Frozens. Um, yeah, what are your thoughts?
I love when things are full circle, and the fact that Andrew Stanton was a part of the screenwriting team for all the Toy Stories
Mhm.
is important because he's been with these characters as long as Tom Hanks has and Tim Allen has, and they mean a lot. They have to mean a lot to him because Toy Story was his first film. So now he gets a chance to direct it, and I really like Wall-E and Finding Nemo. So I think those are two really nice staple pictures
Yeah.
under this banner. So to me, this is one of those like just rock solid, like no brainer moves.
Yeah,
And
choices, yeah.
if it winds up being the last Toy Story, so be it. I don't know how far they plan on going. Again, I'm not sitting here wanting to keep talking about actors' ages, but like Hanks and Allen getting into their 70s now, and like sometimes we heard with Mark Hamill with Star Wars, your voice changes as you get older. I don't know if this is the last one. They still are pushing Toy Story pretty hard in the theme parks, it seems. So they
They
want to
made
keep
a
it
whole
viable.
area, yeah.
They may be looking for spin-offs or whatever, but either way, I loved when I heard this news, and it just like it's just so perfect because he starts his career with it, and if he gets to end the Toy Story movie franchise by directing it, who better than someone who's been with this company for so long and who helped start and shape Toy Story, which really started it all. So I think it's just wonderful.
I don't wanna be lame, but the last one I saw was 3.
Oh, you didn't see 4?
I haven't seen 4 yet, and I heard it's good, but 3 just ended so perfectly for me.
Mhm.
I think part of me was angry that they made a 4th, but I heard
I
how
felt
good
that
it
way when it
was,
was announced. Yeah. When they
and
announced
then you
4,
said
I
it
was
was
like,
good.
I liked 4. Yeah, I feel like because Keanu Reeves is in it,
That's
and
the
he plays this
Forky one, right? I haven't seen the Forky one.
so there's Forky and there's, Keanu Reeves plays this, stunt man.
Right, like Evil
Anyway,
Knievel type.
yeah, yeah, Duke
Yeah.
Kaboom, and, Key and Peele are in it, like, it's really well done. They actually woven or weaved or weved a really nice story.
Webbed.
Yeah.
Webbed. Oh
English
my
degree
god.
right here, pal. Alright,
I am
but
pretty
yeah,
excited for about, but we do have other Disney stories because Disney doesn't stop with their announcements.
never ever.
So we were talking recently about the Moana trailer for the Moana 2, which was originally a TV series that's now going to be a movie on Disney Plus. Or are they
Mm.
releasing it in theaters too? I think they're also releasing it in theaters.
Yep,
Yeah, it was a series on Disney Plus. Now it's
yep,
a full-blown movie.
yep.
Well, they're also at the same time, which we brought up several weeks ago, doing a live action Moana remake, and it hits theaters in July 2026. They've announced some of the casting, including who will play Moana. which is not going to be the original woman that did it. It is Catherine Lagaya, has been cast as Moana. I think she's cute. Hopefully she can sing. That's what's important. Now you'd think, Lacey, why wouldn't she be able to sing? It's a musical. Well, they picked Emma Watson, who couldn't sing, and they made her Belle. So I can't even say that Disney will make the right choice here. But she looks adorable, and I hope that she does have a good time, because The Rock is also returning for not only the Moana 2, but the Moana remake. He's Mauiing it up and getting all those paychecks, peeing in lots of water bottles on the Moana set.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I had to. John, what do you think of this casting? Are you pumped for the Moana remake? Will you see it?
No. Well,
you're not going to see it?
No, I'll see it, but I'm not. I doubt I'll go to the theaters to see this, because it's just strange to me that we're doing, like, Moana's still so fresh. Like, when they do the live action remake of Lion King and Beauty
It
and
was
the Beast and stuff,
2016. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, that's almost 30 years later or whatever. I mean, Moana, like, yeah, 7 years old. They got the second one coming out, and then they're also doubling down on the live action. It just seems like the show that they were going to do for the animated thing was like, all right, so that's not going to theaters. We want Moana in theaters. We're going to do the live action thing. And then Disney Plus had its troubles, and they're like, well, let's convert that to a movie and
they were
screw
like,
it.
psych.
We're going to do the live action anyway. And The Rock's like, The Rock says you're going to do everything because my cheat day meals are too expensive, and The Rock needs money for his steroids and his pizzas and his pancakes.
Why is he talking in the third person?
Have you not watched wrestling?
No. Does he talk like that?
That's how The Rock would always talk.
Oh.
The Rock says, know your role.
Oh, right, because he says, can you smell what The Rock is cooking?
The Rock is cooking, yeah.
Ah, I thought that was like the one line. I didn't realize that's how he spoke.
That's how he would talk. When he first, like, turned bad, he like, The Rock says.
He came back, I think the month after I left WWE, he came back.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Why are you talking in the third person as The Rock? I don't know, Lacey.
It makes sense now. Didn't at the time.
Know your role on Jabroni Boulevard, and it'll probably make a lot of money, I'm sure. The Rock probably needs a couple of wins. He had some stumbles, especially with Black Adam, and
Black Adam was more than a stumble. That was
but maybe they gave this to him because they're like, oh yeah, you screwed DC, so we're gonna give you a Moana live action movie.
I don't know. This girl's unknown. I hope she does a good job and she has fun doing it.
For Star Wars fans, I'm not saying this is nepotism, because I don't think this guy has like massive pull or anything, but her dad is Jay Lagaya, who played Captain Typho in the prequel.
That's where I know the name. That makes sense. Yeah. Funny. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. I'm sure she got into acting because of him, but I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
I mean, they didn't watch Attack of the Clones and say like, oh, I hope she got his acting genes.
Doesn't he die? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's just on the platform when
he just has very awkward lines. I don't even think it's his fault. It's just like, it's like Harrison Ford. You can write this crap, but you can't say it.
Well,
the Disney machine rolls on, Lacey.
The Disney machine does roll on, because the funny thing is, I was just saying that Moana 2 went from a series to the movie, and now they're doing the live action movie, and this next story is a series. So Disney just confirmed this past week that Tiana's story from Princess and the Frog will continue as Tiana, a show on Disney Plus after the events of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the new Splash Mountain remake, or not remake. It's more of like a reworking, recreation,
racistifying.
I mean, what is it? What is the movie it was based on? Song of the South is super racist. So look, it is. I get it. People put up Confederate statues. People do that. but it gets to a point that like, hey, maybe we should do something else. And it's surprising that they didn't have anything for Tiana. Tiana is the last princess that was a hand-drawn creation from Disney Animation
Really?
Studios. Yeah, her movie was the last one. And this was the first time that the show has officially been mentioned in any time, and it doesn't have a time frame shared, which I'm going to give a little I hope for you, Tiana, that it works out, because as Star Wars fans, we've seen this many a time with no timeline or anything. They just give you a name and say, look, we thought of this thing one time. The ride has definitely been a hot topic in the past week and a half. It's set to launch, I believe, on the 28th of June. So like I said, they took I did watch the point of view ride along.
Yeah.
I thought it looked great, but I guess I'm not in that circle of like diehard Disney ride people.
Did you watch the side by side? Like the
I did. I think here's the thing. There are some critiques I agree with. There's some critiques that I don't. I think that the story, now we're getting not into the TV show, by the way, we're talking about the ride. In Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the idea is you jump on the ride. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to know this, go skip ahead, please. Because some people get like that. You don't want to know. I got like that with Rise of the Resistance. I was giving John a hard time like years before I got to go on it. But anyway, for those of you that are still listening, welcome to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So you get in the boat and she's like, hi, y'all. I need to find a new band. Come along. So you get in the boat and you go you go in the boat. Was that pretty good? Were you impressed? You looked impressed.
I thought I was on the ride, honestly.
And you roll past the okra and mustard greens in your little garden.
Or something like and do the.
That's what she sounds like. That's what Tiana sounds like. She's
so you
lovely.
roll on down the river.
Yeah, you roll on down the river, and then Mama Odie goes like, what does she says something like, y'all need to find some little creatures to be in the band. That's what she says. And then you go down a little drop where the drop used to be, because there's a bunch of drops, right? In Splash Mountain, you have one little mini one before the big one. And then you go in to the ride in the dark room, and it's like you're in a swamp. There's mushrooms and fireflies and frogs. There's this one everybody loves called Mondo, and it's this big toad that just kind of drums the drums like this. And then Mama Odie's like, get ready for the party. And then you go up the hill.
That sounded more like the clumps.
You go down the hill. And then at the end, Tiana's like, well, y'all, thanks for coming. She's like, well, y'all, thanks for coming to the party. Look at how this amazing life is happening for me. Look at this. Thanks for coming back soon, y'all. And like, that's the ride. So I understand people's critique that they literally say we need more people for the party like 18 times instead of having a consistent storyline like they did for Splash Mountain, where it was, Briar Rabbit is getting caught and then he's almost getting cooked, and then you're seeing some of the friends and then they sing Zoopity Doo Dah and you go down the whole thing and then everything's great and he survived. Like, there's no story to this ride. It's literally just like, hi y'all, I'm looking for a party. And you're like, okay.
That sounds like the old perverted man in Family Guy. Not gonna lie.
What's his name? Quagmire?
No, it's like Filbert or something.
Oh, no. Hey, you want a popsicle? I got some popsicles.
Right here. But you're reaching in my sleeve.
I think I sound a little better than this.
Back over here. Oh my God. That's what he says. Like about Chris. Get your fat ass back over here.
Stop swearing. What are you doing?
That's not swearing.
That's swearing. Children are listening to my Tiana impersonation.
Well,
come on, y'all. Come to the party. They've had success, by the way. Let's get serious for a moment. They have had success with the ride to movie and or other content
pairing.
So you have the Pirates of the Caribbean, obviously top tier, number one.
Caribbean, right?
What I said. What? What I said. Oh my God. What did I say, John?
You said Caribbean.
Caribbean.
You said Caribbean.
And did you say Caribbean?
Yeah.
You suck. All right. Then you have the terrible, like mid-tier Haunted Mansion stuff,
Haunted
Eddie
Mansion.
Murphy and other one that I didn't see. Is there any other rides that they did? They
Well,
haven't done
they
anything.
based Star Wars off of Star Tours, so they did that.
You're such... Hey y'all, you want to go to the
Why don't you come down to my basement?
Oh my god.
I do miss the Zippity Doodah song, but I don't know, like, was that song found to be racist? Or I don't, because that's a Disney song. Zippity Doodah became just a Disney song.
Well, the
Uh,
movie it's based on is pretty racist and references. I've never watched it. I know I saw some tweet the other day that was like, "Oh well, here's the whole movie," and I was tempted to watch it on Twitter and be like, "I want to watch this," but I didn't care enough
mhm.
to.
But
But people are really mad about this. They said that there's no storyline. They say that there's no consistency. That it's not properly branded. There's moments where there's nothing and just music playing. But then if you watch Splash Mountain version, it's the same thing.
yeah. And I understand the emotion of something being erased and you can't bring it back.
That you love,
Especially
yes.
especially with Disney, where it's sort of this, for a lot of people, a lot of elements of Disney is in this frozen in time sort of time capsule where when you go back, you just feel a little younger, you feel a little less stressed, you're a kid again, things smell the same, you like all those memories come back. So like the rides are part of that. Splash Mountain for a lot of people. I remember when it came out, I was a little kid and like, oh, you can go down this whole ramp and you get everyone wet. It was this big whole thing. And I think for a lot of people, it's like, I want my kids to experience Splash Mountain without realizing, I guess, because I didn't realize, because I don't know that movie, uh,
Mhm.
the racist content, I guess, that at the time was not looked at as bad because obviously it was before civil rights movements in the 60s and all that stuff. So I understand completely and
Well, it's from
agree.
the 30s, right? 30s or 40s?
Yeah, yeah. So I
Mm.
understand, you got to get with the times, but I also understand where people who may only see it as what it was have that feeling. And I understand that feeling while at the same time understanding, that they got to make some updates. So it's a new ride though, so I'm excited to check it out because
Yeah,
I've been on
it was
Splash
time
Mountain
for an
before.
update, right? The film came out in 1946. Princess Tiana came out later, late 20s. Princess and the Frog. I actually enjoyed Princess and the Frog.
It was
Have
like
you seen Princess and
98
the Frog?
or something.
Have you seen 2009 actually?
What? I have
Yeah,
not seen it.
woof, I didn't know that. 2009 was Princess and the Frog, and it was the last, um, hand-drawn animated feature from Disney.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, Almost There, which is kinda like the big ballad at the beginning of the movie from Princess Tiana, is one of my favorite Disney songs of all time. I love that song, it's one of my car songs. Love me some Almost There.
alright.
But I watched this video, and I didn't understand what everybody was so mad about. Look, everybody's allowed to have their opinions and have certain feelings about things. I get it. We talk about Star Wars all the time, and we're in that community nonstop where it's exactly that all the time, where Disney fans are very similar.
Brutal.
But to me, this ride looked super fun. I could see myself enjoying every second of it. I could see kids enjoying every
Oh,
second of it.
definitely.
And I think everybody just needs to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing, like, so for my kids, this is gonna be their Splash Mountain. Like, there was nothing before Splash Mountain, and I got Splash Mountain, and then
Mhm,
for almost my whole life, I knew Splash Mountain. With our kids now, this is going to be that.
mhm.
So and it's you gotta pass the baton.
Yeah. So, John,
Yeah.
how do you feel about this TV show, y'all?
About
Tiana, the series that's coming up on Disney Plus, which is gonna continue the story
well,
of...
apparently I have to watch Princess and the Frog, so we'll do that
It's
first.
good. You should watch it with your kids. They'll love it.
I will. I assume it's on Disney Plus.
It is.
Okay.
It's on Disney
Yeah,
Plus.
I'll definitely watch it with my kids. Hopefully they like it. And then I'll probably watch this with them too.
There was Disney sent out a box of merch to a bunch of influencers for this ride specifically, Tiana's Bio Adventure, and there was one piece of merch that I thought was so fun and unique that I really needed it, and I tried to look on Disney Store to see if they have it, and they don't have it up yet. It's gonna sound so dumb. You're gonna be like, "This is so stupid." In the movie, the big mission of Tiana is to save up money to have her own restaurant, and it's based on a real person that was in New Orleans that had her own restaurant. So that's where the baseline of the story came from. So the piece of merch that they're selling with the ride is a coin bank can that says like restaurant funds, and I thought that was so cool because I have all this change and I don't know where to put it, and I was like, that seems like a really fun way to save my change. I appreciate a good merchandise tie-in.
Yeah,
Disney sometimes gets it right.
Oh, I feel like Disney used to be like the best at it.
Yeah,
But
not anymore.
well, I think they need to catch up a bit with how people are getting things done. They should hire I mean, he's already hired. Ryan Reynolds is part of Marvel now, so.
Things could get a little dicey though if you bring Ryan Reynolds into Disney merchandise. You know it's going to get dicey. There's a new prequel series coming out. And I don't know how anybody could not think this is going to get dicey. It's Welcome to Derry, which is going to debut on Max in 2025. It is the prequel series of It, Spooky Clown, starring Bill Skarsgård, Taylor Page, Jovan Adepo, James Remar, Chris Chalk, Madeline Stowe, and Stephen Ryder. But most importantly, Bill Skarsgård is coming back for Welcome to Derry. I'm going to be honest. I hate scary movies. I have no interest in watching this. The only clip I've ever seen of It was the Tim Curry version where he's in the sewer drain. And he's like, "Hey there." I was like, okay, this is enough. Thank you so much, Tim Curry.
Wait, the woman from the Bayou was in the sewer?
Hi, y'all. Come on down. We're looking for a band.
Pennywise the Clown, and you're Georgie. So now we're not strangers no more.
I need a band for the party.
Get that fat ass in my basement.
Oh my God, stop. So terrible. Anyway, I have no interest in watching this. It looks terrifying. Would you watch it? It's pretty cool that they got Bill Skarsgård back.
This is one of those I'm happy for you things because I too was pretty tormented by that Tim Curry that scene in the first iteration of this, which I think was made for TV, believe it or not. And I remember it having, just like every Stephen King movie set, based on his books, which were fat books, it always had the 2 cassette tape. And it had the big white packaging with Tim Curry's big white face on it with the sharp teeth and all that. But then I did watch that scene in the new version, and it's even more horrifying because it's gorier.
Oh, do they show him like pulling the kid in?
They show him ripping his arm off of his body and then pulling him in.
A child?
Yes. So you see the child get his arm ripped off of his body. You see him experience it, and then you see him get pulled into the sewer. And it's not ripped off. I think he gets like bitten off with the teeth.
Because he reaches in? Because in the Tim Curry version, they kind of left it to your imagination a lot. Like they would cut away. But I'm saying they'd cut away, and then it would be like the boat in the water or something.
Oh, it was
it
was like a zoom in on his mouth, like ah. In this one, it was pretty gruesome. So I am not clicking with that.
I'm not in with kid stuff.
I have a lot of buddies who love horror, and when people love horror, they love horror, and I think they're down with this because you got the same people involved. You have the Machetes, you have Bill Skarsgård. So when you have the same group, like if this was one of those things where it was like, we're doing a prequel series and the whole cast is different and the showrunner, it wasn't involved at all with the movie, that's when the bells go off and people who pay attention to that are like, oh, you're trying to do a little bait and switch on us here.
Cash cow.
Yeah. So it looks like they're doing it right, which is an earnest thing, and that's good. So for those who are big fans, especially of this iteration, happy. I think I'm pumped for my fans, my friends who like horror. So
I've never seen that movie, and now I feel so uneasy you telling me that, because nothing makes me more annoyed than like, look how scary this is. Look at this kid die. Like,
oh yeah,
it sounds like it was very brutal. No, thank you.
yeah.
But we got
Let's
some
talk
stuff
about
that's
like
not
teddy
brutal.
bears or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got some stuff coming up in trailer time.
Oh God, I love that movie.
First up this week, we have 3 trailers we're going to talk about here. First up, we have Paddington in Peru, which is hitting theaters November 8th. So you do a little election day, and then you head to the movies that weekend, that sort of situation. But Paddington in
Everybody,
Peru.
no matter what your views are, Paddington Bear is there to give you the hug after Election Day.
Oh yeah, the hug you need.
And you leave
for
the
Election
country to
Day.
go to Peru.
Right, exactly. Just like all the celebrities.
Hi, y'all. Come on to Peru.
So the Paddington film series is an interesting one, because you talk about just like juggernaut hits that probably weren't expected to be such hits, and also just the critical response, especially to the first
Oh,
one. I
people
think
love them. Yeah.
like you're talking 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, 300 million box office. I mean, just knockout. And that was 10 years ago, the first Paddington. And then the second one, same thing, made a ton of money, 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, just absolutely crushing it. And I remember Paddington as a kid, but I don't remember it being like I knew Teddy Ruxpin more, and like other teddy bears, Winnie the Pooh and stuff. Paddington or Berenstain Bears, like Paddington for me, it wasn't on my radar anyway, but I know it was popular. But for
It's
it to
popular mostly in, I feel, England.
England, yeah,
Which, by the way, didn't you buy your kids Paddington Bears last
I
year?
did. Yeah,
Yeah, very cute.
yeah, yes, and so I think this is gonna be a success. It looks cute. It looks well made. It looks well produced.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it has the
Not a
a
small
lot of
budget. Yeah.
right. Seems like it has a lot of the same people involved. So again, that pattern, different director, but it still looks good. I'll admit though, I haven't seen the Paddington movies, so
Neither have I.
the trailer looks good. It's gonna probably make $300 million and be 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, and everyone's gonna love it, and that'll be it. But do you have any recollection or memory about Paddington, or like about these movies?
I just know that he likes marmalade. That's like his thing, right?
Oh, that does sound familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, which is again a very British thing, not an
All right.
American thing.
So
But all those things you just said, making all that money, critically acclaimed, etc. Not for this next one. We went
Right.
from high to low.
Yeah, so we have Sausage Party Foodtopia, which hits Prime on July 11th, so less than a month away. A sequel to a very silly movie that you probably need to be stoned to watch to enjoy if you're over the age of 11. But it just looks like a crazier version of the first one. And you know what's weird though, Lacey? I feel bad saying this. I am kind of, I don't know why, I'm like Seth Rogen'd out for some reason.
Wow.
I know, and I like Seth Rogen, and I
Me
like
too.
a bunch of his movies. I think the first movie of his I saw was 40-Year-Old Virgin. I was like, oh, who's this guy? And then I realized he's like with the Apatow crowd, and he was on Freaks and Geeks and all that stuff. But I don't know if it's his voice or that he laughs too much, or I feel like he needs to clear his throat all the time. Yeah, but I don't know. I need like a Seth Rogen break. I don't know what's going on with me and Seth Rogen. So I'm not super interested in this one either, but I will be redeemed by the next trailer we talk about. I promise I'm not disinterested in everything. But Lacey, you and what you call Sausage Fest.
Did I call it Sausage Fest?
Yeah, but before we went to air.
When I was watching it, I was like, "What is this sausage?"
This is Sausage Fest too? Like, did you go into that? Did you accidentally go into that closet in the video store?
Oh my god! I felt like I did because the whole trailer is like food having sex. So, by the way, Paddington, I'll probably go and watch those because they seem like really wholesome movies.
Lacey's like, what's with all these hot dogs banging each other?
But yeah, when I was watching this trailer before we recorded, I said to John, I was like, "Why is all the food having sex?" John's like, "What?" I was like, they're all having sex. What is this?" I have no interest in this. This is not my humor. This is not it. It's not even like witty, funny, like ridiculous humor like South Park or like Team America World Police, which I told you recently that rolled onto my phone because I have my old iPod
Oh,
on my phone and Team America World Police theme
so
came
good.
on and I was having a terrible day. And let me tell you, by verse 2, I was cackling in
Taco
my
Bell.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Slavery, books. So good. Yeah, I have no interest in this whatsoever.
okay.
If people like it, congrats. I hope you enjoy it, but I am definitely more excited for the next one.
And Sausage Party feels like it's like an inside joke amongst those people. Like, let's see if we can make the dumbest thing possible and it be successful. And it did well enough where they're like, all right, now we can make another one.
Someone
And
liked it. Yeah,
they're
someone
probably
liked
like, can you believe that we made this movie? That's
like,
probably
part
what
of the
it's like.
trailer is a guy being like, "I have a sausage in my butt."
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's very,
not
yeah. I
not
feel
my
like I've
thing.
aged out of it a little bit, but yeah, Wild Robot is next. It's DreamWorks' new animated film in theaters September 27th. Big cast here, Lacey. We got
Mhm,
Lupita Nyong'o, a lot of Star Wars veterans. Lupita
mhm,
Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal, Mark Hamill. Heard of him?
Who is that?
The incredible Catherine O'Hara. A lot of great names in this one. Matt Berry, Ving Rhames, a ton of awesome names. But what did you think of this trailer? I enjoyed it, but I want to hear your thoughts first.
I am very interested in this. This looks like right up my alley. I
All
love
right.
WALL-E. I love robots, especially animated ones.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little thrown because the robot does look like a ripoff from the robot in Castle in the Sky from Studio Ghibli in 1986.
Oh.
Um, the robot has like the kind of long arms with the little tiny head on the top. Look, they might be referencing it or saying like paying homage to it somehow, but it did immediately. I was like, Castle in the Sky. Um, but this movie just looks fun. It's got animals in it. You know, how can you not like that? Kids movie with animals. And they go on this
Mm-hmm.
fantastical journey. It's bright colors. We talk about this all the time, how movies nowadays are so dark and dreary and whatever. Give me bright, bright, bright colors, something that I can show my kids, have a good time, family movie night. Um, this looks like a lot of fun, and it looks like something that has a lot of heart, which is what
Mm-hmm.
I love animated movies and children's movies. I don't know if this is specifically a children's movie, I shouldn't say that, it could be an adult movie, but to me, it reads like a child's movie,
Yeah.
but those are some of my favorites. Coco is one of my favorite movies of all time, um, and as, what's his name? I'm blanking right now. Guillermo del Toro always says is, animation isn't a genre, it's a medium. So I look forward to seeing what story this is. And like you said, it has such a great cast. I can't imagine it not being good because Pedro's only signing on to hits lately.
Well, I have some good news for you.
You do?
So I guess Lupita Nyong'o is playing the robot, so she's the main
Mhm,
character,
mhm.
and Pedro Pascal is playing the fox. But the writer and
He is a
director.
fox.
Oh, okay, let's calm
Walked right
down.
into that.
I mean, Lupita Nyong'o's very talented. That's all I'm gonna say.
Of course,
Chris.
she's gorgeous too, but I'm saying they made him a fox. So I had to say, well, he is a
Oh,
fox.
I got you. I got you. So Chris Sanders is writing and directing it. This dude's resume. You ready for
Mm.
this?
Mhm.
He wrote the story for Beauty and the Beast,
Yep.
Aladdin,
Please.
Lion King.
We'll take.
Wrote the screenplay for Mulan.
Mm.
Wrote and directed Lilo and Stitch. The entire the first no, How to Train Your Dragon.
Mhm.
Uh, so I mean, imagine like submitting that resume for a job. Be like, yeah, I
So he
wrote the
worked at
story
Disney,
for.
worked at Disney, worked at Disney. Screw you, I'm going to DreamWorks, DreamWorks, DreamWorks.
Yeah, yeah. I think Lilo and Stitch was his last one with Disney, and then
Mhm.
he went into TV, I believe. But needless to say, here we go with a hell of a resume to write and direct this one, so that's another good sign. And the cast looks great, and the trailer just so many visual things that are being presented here that I love getting lost in those types of visual presentations. I really enjoy that, and my kids are gonna love it too. Assuming, like you say, it's for families. Maybe it's on the Shrek thing where there's some jokes that go over their heads.
Yeah, lots of merchandise, I'm sure, will come from this.
Ton of merchandise. So I'm also very excited for this one. So come September 27th, I hope this one has a good run. And if I can, I'd love to take the kids to go see it in the theater. But if
Can I go with you?
Come on, let's do it.
My kids are too young for this.
We'll do yeah, you think so? Yeah, probably.
Family plus Lacey. Come on, y'all. It's a party.
As long as you do that voice the whole time, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Lacey, that's it for trailers. So, I mean, it's in the title, but what you watching?
We can never leave the house, and would just probably sit around all weekend and watch TV.
Go on.
Like I hinted at the top of the show, I was able to watch several things on my watch list. One thing is a critically acclaimed #1 movie. The other, not so much. So I'm going to start with the not so much because I know you watched the movie I did, which was Hitman with Glenn Powell. And the thing that you did not watch was the first kind of batch of episodes of The Perfect Match. So for those of you that don't know, I am a big fan of trashy reality TV, specifically within the Nick Lachey cinematic universe on Netflix. So him and his wife Vanessa do these shows like Love is Blind, The Ultimatum, all these other things. Perfect Match is a game show, reality love show competition where they take kind of the creme de la creme of these shows and throw them into a house, and they're all attractive people. They're super young, and they're trying to find that perfect match, which season 1 was awesome because they brought back Shane from Love is Blind, who is like wild. They brought him back. But they bring in people from like the Circle.
I remember that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was crazy. So they bring back a whole new batch of people, including some people from the first season. Dom, who won the whole thing the first time, well, guess what? His perfect match cheated on him after the first season. So he came back to find his next match this season. Dom. I know. Rom-com Dom is how they call him because he's such a nice guy.
Dom, I'm so sorry, Dom.
But anyway, I'm not going to get into the details of the show, but just know it's a bunch of super attractive people on an island trying to find their compatible person. But then there's a lot of people that are there just to be either famous and or make money and go on a big trip or whatever the winning prize is. The thing that was noticeable is I think this show is the first time I've genuinely felt old. I watched this show and I genuinely was like, I'm an old person. I didn't know like certain phrases they were using. They're all very hip. I mean, I can't like rattle them off. It's like in the moment that I'm like, I have no idea what that means.
Like on fleek?
No, it's I would say phrases like it's giving. Like it's giving poor. It's giving bad boy. It's
no
giving
cap, right?
No, there's no cap. They didn't say that at all, but like talking about energies and vibes and horoscopes, and I just felt very old. I don't know how I would survive in today's dating pool. The other thing that was very surprising to me is that many of the people on the show, including the guys, admitted to getting Botox, which is like a known thing that everybody's getting face fillers now. And I have to say, if you want to do that to make yourself feel better, go for it. However, just know you're causing damage. Please don't do it. Because Kylie Jenner took hers out and she looks like she's 40 and she's like 26.
What do you mean takes it out?
Like stops getting the fillers and the Botox. So your face that's been getting filled and like frozen from poison then releases and it looks worse than it started because you're doing that in your 20s.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, go see it. It's funny. If you want something to just put on while you're doing other things or like, I don't know, want to watch attractive people.
Perfect match.
perfect match. Nick Lachey is probably the funniest part about it because like it's all these young 20-somethings and they're like, I'm looking, how could this person do this to me? And oh my God, I can't believe this person didn't match with me. And Nick Lachey just strolls in being like, hey guys, how's it going? Someone's going home tonight, so figure it out. And then he
So the
just
guy
walks
from
out.
98 Degrees is like the show's dad.
Yeah, and he's every show they run, basically dating wise, like Love is Blind, all these other shows. He's the guy that comes in and he's like, "Hey guys, love is about finding the person you're meant to be with." And I'm like, "You were with Jessica Simpson, and then now you're with Vanessa." It's like, I guess
Yeah.
so.
I can see why he left Jessica Simpson though, if I'm being honest.
I don't know. I thought they were pretty good at the time. I watched the show back in the day. I thought they were pretty unique. Plus they were like a part of the time, they were both in pop music and
Oh, sure. You got the
kind of forced together.
Brittany and Justin, and then you got the Nick and the Jessica, all
Yeah.
the
She
boy
had the
groups out there.
successful TV show with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she did Dukes of Hazzards and it all went downhill from there.
Yeah.
But what I did watch this past week, which I absolutely loved, and to no surprise, it's doing very well, is Hitman from Richard Linklater and Glenn Powell, which I figured out from watching the credits. Glenn Powell also wrote the screenplay of this movie and starred in it and produced it. John, what are your thoughts?
Well, Lacey, as a guy who's been a fan of this Hitman, Bret Hart, for a very long time, I went into this thinking this was going to be a biopic on professional wrestling, and I was wrong.
No, what? Are you being serious?
No.
Oh.
No. I had heard that everyone liked this movie. I had heard that it has that comedy action thing, but with sensibilities and actual substance and that sort of thing. So I went into it with those expectations, and it delivered. I really enjoyed the movie. Adria Arjona, holy cow, she was great. I actually like her better in this than in Andor, where she's
Me
getting
too.
like abused the whole time.
Yeah.
The only thing that threw me to the point where it felt like it should have been an alternate ending that they didn't use was that he killed the other. I mean, are we talking spoilers here? Am I allowed to do that since we're
I
reviewing
guess
it?
we already talked about it. Yeah, this is a review spoiler.
Spoiler review for the Hitman. No,
Come on,
just
y'all.
Hitman.
It's time for spoilers.
It's time to spoil the show. Get down in my basement with that fat ass. So listen.
Oh my goodness.
So, he puts the bag over the other, cop guy, fake hitman guy's head and suffocates him after she drugged him. So it's like,
I will admit, it totally threw me off. I was waiting for the guy to wake up, for him to be behind on the plan,
they just killed him.
For them to like be like, psych, just kidding. He was actually awake and you're now going to jail because you killed 2 dudes. Like,
Right.
I thought there was going to be some twist there that, oh my God, he's in on it or he's wearing a mic or something.
The ending
and it just
threw me
didn't
a bit.
happen. Yeah, nothing happened. He just
And the
died.
fact that she just killed her husband too, so it's like she has that one that he knows, and he technically killed him, and so she has that on him. So they're like sort of square, and then they have flash forward with the kids, and they're like
Where'd
making
you
these
meet mommy and daddy?
making these subtle references to how they met, and like with these undertones that they like killed people. Just
It was very jarring.
the ending was strange, but I refused to let it kill the movie for me. I just wish they maybe went in a different route and not even like use it. I feel like that conflict wasn't even that necessary at that point. Like that guy could have just been like, you're not that bad of a guy, I guess. And or like Gary like walks away from the gig, so the guy takes it back and then they live happily ever after. That would have been fine too.
I thought that was what they were gonna do, or they were gonna like put her in jail and that was it. But I guess they like wanted them to end up together in the end.
Or like Baby Driver. Like there's this like you're not sure what's gonna end up happening, and she waits for him to come out of jail or whatever. Like it could have been that they could have done.
You know what would have been the best is if he walked away from her and you know, left the job, whatever, and thought everything was over. And he's sitting at the booth that he met her in. And then she walks up and she asks him, "So how's the pie?" And then the
Oh,
movie
do it
ends
that
there.
way. Oh, I like the bookends. That's nice.
And
Yeah.
then forget the kid stuff, forget everything. It's just, "How's the pie?" And then it ends.
All pie is good pie.
That's how I would end the movie if I was. I wouldn't even have him answer. I'd have him look up and just kind of breathe, just be like, and then it ends.
Mhm. So how many times did you rewind and rewatch him say all pie is good pie, for the record?
I didn't. What are you talking about?
Okay. 'Cause you like oh,
I
can we
thought you
stop
were
it?
gonna talk. I thought you were gonna tell me how many times you rewind the spicy intimate scenes.
Well, that I figured was a given.
Some of them were very spicy.
Yeah.
Very, very up close and personal in those intimate scenes, which I appreciated.
You're like, "Oh,
'Cause
that's why they call him the hitman."
yeah. No, I think this movie for me was a acting class for Glenn Powell. He showed off every accent he can do, all the different characters. I loved the storyline. I loved the little dedication at the end of the movie where they gave Gary like his little dedication where they're like, "This is for Gary," and they showed his actual pictures, the real life
Oh,
guy.
right. They said he did everything
Um,
but kill someone.
yeah, I did find it funny, and tell me if I'm wrong, that they had Donna from Park and Rec there. Have you ever seen Park and Rec?
Mhm.
And they basically had an Indian guy play the other car guy, and it was basically Tom Haverford from Park and Rec.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
entire relationship they have while they're going back and forth and being like, "I'd sleep with Ron. I'd totally do that for Ron. I do this." To me, it was like I was watching Donna and Tom Haverford.
That is a good call, yeah.
Like, they
I
left watching
yeah.
Park and Rec and were like, "You know what we need in this movie? Donna and Tom Haverford."
Yeah, right.
'Cause they're basically the same characters, and I bet if they could get Aziz, they would have put him in the role.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I was
It
just trying
was
to look at
that for me was the jarring part because it took me right out. I was like, "This is regurgitation of a classic comedy partnership," and I'm wondering if the lady that plays Donna, I don't know her name offhand, but if she even was like, "This feels really familiar." She's
um,
playing the same role.
yeah, that is mm,
I don't.
Marietta Sirleaf?
Yeah, she's playing Donna from Park and Rec.
She's known as Retta? Yeah,
Yeah.
she plays Donna, yeah. No, yeah, I enjoyed the movie. That like the ending was weird, but like I liked it so much that I'm not gonna let it like take it away. So
Mhm, mhm.
they could have done it a little differently, but it was a good movie, so I highly recommend it. I think people will have a good time watching it, whether guy, girl. Like I think everyone could enjoy it. I think they should have. The budget was only $9 million.
Wow. Is that just all for Glenn Powell?
Can they? Yeah, can they just start like doing this so they can make more movies that don't have to make 500 million to profit? Like,
Yeah, I
and why
also
didn't this
liked
should have been in
that.
the theaters too?
Yeah, I also like that it was done in New Orleans because I feel like we tend to not get a lot of movies in those southern towns. We get like New York and Chicago, and it's nice to see a place down there in the South or like these classic kind of backdrops in these movies that I really love that you could go visit if you wanted to visit, like the frosty place that he went to, or I love those kind of things.
And New Orleans famously known for bayous. So
Come on, y'all.
let's put this plastic bag over his head.
We're gonna go murder.
We're gonna kill this guy. Anyway, they should have released this in theaters. It probably would have made like
I
$100
think
million.
so too.
Yeah,
Also,
but
he deserves the like awards and stuff, like the,
yeah.
consideration for awards.
Oh, sure. Maybe at least a Golden Globe, maybe. Yeah.
Mhm.
But which I think he still can win with a Netflix release. But
If they
uh
did several theaters, which I think they did.
yeah, they did. Um and I didn't know this, but Jason Bateman was one of the producers of this movie. So that's cool.
Hmm, nice.
All right. Very good. Enjoyed that. But that takes us to the end of the show. So
Mhm.
thanks everybody. Make sure you do follow us at Nerdy and Nice Pod on social media apps. And of course, TRB, Resistance Broadcast at TRB Podcasts. Both pods are on their own feeds, Resistance Broadcast and Nerdy and Nice. So follow us, subscribe, leave 5-star reviews, tell your friends. It means a lot. And of course, both shows are on video. Hello. On the channel, youtube.com/@TRB podcasts. And as we said at the top, last but not least, Patreon. If you are able to support us and you like TRB, you like Nerdy and Nice, you like both, either way, it starts at $5 and it goes a long way. So go to patreon.com/TRB podcasts and check out the tiers. And if you're down, sign up, join us, and we appreciate it. Special shout out to the movie star generals and the silver screen spice runners: Carmelo, John Risi, Jetta Rosewater, Frank Grande, Nick Kratz, Chris Morales, Brian Smith, Dani, Mike Rumore, Brendan McLaughlin, Sneaky Zebra, Dave Hornack, Jolton Jedi DiMaggio, and Colin Cormier, and David Probus, Neil Shaw, Kendall Gelner, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, and TheFortWorthian. And all of our supporters, thank you all so much. For me, at Johnny Hoey on X, my nostalgic movie podcast, Just Like the Movies, and of course TRB, the Resistance Broadcast, which we are running ACO Night live Wednesday nights to cover what we're also watching, which is Star Wars: The Acolyte. Isn't that right, Lacey? And where can people find you?
People can find me talking Star Wars on the Resistance Broadcast on Wednesday night about Acolyte Episode 4 with our buddies at Children of the Watch.
Right.
Week. So definitely
Out
check that out. You can find me here. Hey, y'all. And you can find me on social media at Lacey Gilleran and on TikTok at It's Lacey Gilleran. Make sure to follow us on social for both of our podcasts. We put up stuff throughout the week, kind of gauging where you guys are at with news and whatnot. Share the show, leave reviews for us. We really appreciate it. It lets people know what we're doing and spreads the word. And that's the best way that you can help us grow this community and grow this show. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. So for Star Wars fans, Lacey and I will be back with you in 2 days on ACO Night, the Resistance Broadcast live Acolyte coverage. And then for Nerdy and Nice, we'll see you next Monday. So until then, we'll see you around, kids.